The Ox's Revenge. Visakha was a very wise woman in the city of Shravasti. At that time, King Prasenajit admired her greatly. He especially praised her and even acknowledged her as his foster sister. One year, Visakha became pregnant when the time came for her to give birth. She astonishingly delivered 32 lumps of flesh, each about the size of a goose egg. Her family thought something strange had happened, but before long, each lump split open by itself. From every lump emerged a handsome baby boy. As the boys grew up, each one became exceptionally brave and strong. One man's strength was said to equal more than 1,000 men. So everyone called them the guardians of the city gates. One day, Visakha heard that the Buddha was teaching the Dharma in Shravasti. Out of deep respect, she prepared a meal offering, invited the Buddha and his disciples to her home to receive offerings, and asked the Buddha to give a Dharma talk. But while this was happening, her youngest son secretly slipped out, riding on an elephant for fun. He came to a large bridge at the edge of the city, where he saw the minister's son riding toward him in a fine, jeweled carriage. Visakha's youngest son, being mischievous, thought to himself,
"Hey,
let me play a trick on him."
So he reached out, grabbed the minister's son from the carriage, and threw him down into the ditch beneath the bridge, injuring him badly. The boy rushed home crying to his father, the minister.
"Father, I never offended them. Yet they bullied me like this. You must stand up for me and make this right."
These young men are immensely strong, and their mother is the king's foster sister. I can't oppose them openly. I'll have to find a way to take revenge in secret.
Later, the minister devised a cruel plan. He had 32 hollow whips custom-made, each of which could be opened and filled with something inside. On the outside, he inlaid them with colorful precious stones, making them look noble and exquisite. He then commissioned a blacksmith to forge 32 sharp daggers in the shape of slender leaves, cast from pure steel. When the whips and blades were ready, the minister hid the daggers inside the hollow whips, sealed them, and painted them with the finest finish. Then he presented the whips as gifts to Visakha's 32 sons. The young men all received the whips and loved it dearly, taking them everywhere they went, even into the royal palace. At that time, there was a strict law. No one was allowed to carry weapons in the king's presence. One day, the minister saw the 32 sons carrying their jeweled whips before the king. He thought,
"Now is my chance to get revenge."
so he whispered into the king's ear,
"Your Majesty, Visika's sons are each as strong as 1,000 soldiers. But I have heard they are plotting treason. Those jeweled whips they carry conceal sharp blades within. You should be on your guard."
The king frowned and asked in doubt,
Ah, can this news be trusted? Don't speak recklessly without proof.
"I only say this for your Majesty's safety. If you wish to know the truth, just have them searched."
So the king immediately ordered his guards to seize the 32 men, take their whips, and inspect them. When they opened them to the king's shock, they indeed found blades inside, just as the minister had said. Enraged, the king instantly commanded that all 30 to be executed. But even after their deaths, the king's anger was not spent. He had the 32 heads placed into a sealed chest and ordered his attendants to deliver the chest to his foster sister, Visaka. That very day, Visaka was hosting the Buddha and his disciples, offering them a meal. When she saw the king's gift box, she thought it must contain items to assist with the offering and was about to open it. The Buddha saw her reaching for the chest and immediately said to her,
"Wait, don't open that box just yet."
After they had finished lunch, the Buddha gave them a Dharma teaching. At that time, Visaka had already attained the fruit of enlightenment, a state where one is no longer disturbed by desires or attachments. Then the Buddha departed. Visaka opened the chest. She saw 32 severed heads inside. But because she had cut off the bonds of lust, love, and hatred, she did not fall into grief or anger. She only said sorrowfully,
"How could something like this happen?"
When the relatives of the 32 men heard the grim news, they were outraged. They quickly gathered troops, preparing to take revenge. They marched with soldiers and surrounded the royal city, but the king was nowhere to be found. He had already fled to the Buddha's residence, seeking refuge. The crowd knew that he was hiding in the Buddha's dwelling. They immediately surrounded the place where the Buddha was teaching, demanding that the Buddha hand the king over. Venerable Ananda saw the situation. With joined palms, he asked the Buddha,
"World-honored one, what past causes and conditions led to these 32 men being killed by the king?"
Let me tell you. Long ago, 32 men once stole an ox. They dragged the ox to an old woman's house, planning to slaughter it for food. The old woman was delighted and eagerly helped them prepare the tools for killing. Just as the knife was about to fall, the ox suddenly knelt down, begging for its life. But these men were utterly determined. and insisted on killing the cow. In its dying breath, the ox swore,
"Since you kill me today, in a future life I will not spare you."
That ox was none other than King Prasenajit in this life. The thieves who stole the ox are the 32 men who were killed. And the old woman was Visakha herself. Because she once helped them in killing, she became entangled with their karmic retribution, and in life after life, she suffered tragic deaths along with them. But in this life, because she heard the Dharma, she was fortunate to gain liberation and attain the fruit of Angman.
When the relatives heard the Buddha explain this law of cause and effect, their anger dissolved at once. They sighed and said,
"Their retribution was all planted by themselves. Just for killing one ox, they ended up in such a fate in this life. How much worse it must be for killing many more beings."
So they gave up their thoughts of revenge, and together they accepted the Buddha's teaching, vowing to uphold the precept of not killing.